my talk about µDjango. This is the simply technique how I create my project. That's all. This is not special. This is not a new library which I provide you. This is only the style how you work with Django. And before I start, I want to say thank you for my family for the support on any my conferences in this year. Thank you for my wife Elena. Thank you for my children Maya and Mark, and thank you for my animals Marcel and Kisa. They are right now around me. And special thanks I want to say for my daughter Maya, because they create all illustrations for my presentations in this year. Also, this presentation you can get in repository after this talk. And thank you, Maya. And who I am. My name is Maxim Danilov. I live in Austria. I am more than 27 years in development. 9 years, or better to say 10 years, I work with Python and Django, and I speak about it on the conferences. And more than 6 years, I worked with various reactive JavaScript frameworks. And for example, Vue.js or Denofresh, this is my point of interest right now on the front end. And since 2006, I'm mentor in engineering, and I provide mentoring for free for newbies Python developers. If you stuck with your tasks with programming, please ask me. I provide also the link. You can connect with me, and we can go with your problem and research your problem. Please, it's for free. Link to slides you can see there, or I provide it later on the chat. All my talks from all conferences I publish on Bitbucket. Okay, and let's go to µDjango. µDjango or Django micro framework, or you can find billion other names about it. This is only the style how you create your project, how you organize your project. And in your project, you have only 3 or 4 files. This is a Git file. This is a Docker probably if you need it. This is an important file, MinePI, only one PI file, README and test.py. But in reality, test.py also should not be included in your package. But important moment in this style, the full Django functionality still exists in your project. You are able to use any batteries which you can find for Django. You can run your project standalone. You can run your project as a separate app in monolith, and of course it's testable with Django test framework. And for me it is important because many people think or thought Django is for monolith projects and so on. No, Django can be simple and easy, and it's not always for monolith projects. Okay, let's go further. And how this technology appears. The first time it was described from Julia Ellman and Mark Lavin in 2014. And you can also find it in GitHub. And in reality, this technology exists since 2014. But why we speak about it right now in 2024? Because right now Django offers us async syntaxes, to use async syntaxes, and right now it's really, really attractive to use in our for our project like a microservice. But this is interesting because after that, I have seen this technology was reinvented in 2015, or a little bit later, this technology was reinvented in 2018. It's funny. And later, Django community, in Django community came one idea how we can create lightweight Django. But for me, it's really interesting. It's what also published like a Django micro framework. It's for me, it's only interesting. Probably these people completely don't read the book about lightweight Django, because they present again and again the same lines of code. It was interesting. And at last, in 2023, Paulo Melchiorre, Django fellow, presented the new name, µDjango. And it was the first try to use lightweight Django with async paradigm. And for 1 week ago, I tried to prepare myself for this talk, and I find also Teeny Django from Anton Pirker, they placed in Austria, Nano Django from Richard Terry from United States, and in this case, many names for the same technology. And what is it and how I can use it? If I have the huge monolith Django, but some entry point I want to organize stable, or I want to publish separate, or I want to run it independently from my monolith, in this case, I can organize only one entry point, or two or three. For me, it don't matter, like a µDjango project, and I can publish it in container alone. Of course, this is I use it in my projects on the separate commons-based projects. For example, if I have only a service which write the requests in database, and other URL send the response, send the recorded data. In this case, only entry point only to write something. It can be really good created with µDjango project. Also, µDjango I use in different projects. They are which organized like modular monoliths. If you don't understand what is it, please open my other talks. I have some talks about modular monoliths with Django. And of course, if you want to create a sync-oriented Django project, probably µDjango can also help, etc. But right now, probably it should be live coding part, because I hope you want to understand what is it µDjango. In this case, I create the in folder conference 2024 the folder extreme Python, and there I placed the how I can remove this somehow. I cannot remove it. Okay. At first, I open the folder and I create the file which I named µDjango.py. And if what I should write in this file? In this file, I should import the standard libraries from Django, URLs and HTTP. They organize for me response request answers and URLs. After that, I should import some handler which handle every request from user. And after that, I write the standard function-based index application. I get the request and I send in response simple dictionary hello world. And also I should organize in Django style URL patterns. If I compare this code style with Fast API, we can go to the Fast API web page and we can simply copy the hello world example, and we can put it in other file and we can compare. There is the difference. I import Fast API like application. After that, I initiate the Fast API application. After that, I wrap with decorator my function-based view, and this decorator register for me the URL. In µDjango, we have the same style. I import application, but I not create an object. It happens automatically. I create a function-based view, and I register the URL pattern. If you compare the line quantity, this is the same line quantity, but it's written in Django style. Please put in chat some plus if you see the if it's similar or not similar. Of course, one difference you have in Fast API, we use decorator, and in Django we should create the new variable URL patterns. A little bit later, I'll show you. For me, it completely don't matter. And if I say that, probably I forget something else. ISGE here, and Fast API. It's also. If I save it all, we can run it. We can run it. Simply in locally. In this case, I use uvicorn to run it with web server. You can see uvicorn, Django, ASGE. Oops. Of course, what I forget, we need to create setup PI, because without it, Django don't want to start. Of course, in this case, let's go to settings PI, and what I need to have in settings PI, I should add there one variable, because without it you cannot start the Django project. I think this is an error, but okay, I should create it. And the second, I should to put mentioning there, Django should find this variable container for our paths. Okay, let's go. Let's go. I hope I save it. It's saved. And of course, I should say in command line there I placed my settings, and right now I can run. I hope I can run it. Oh. Django, ASGE, uvicorn, run it. Wow, it's run it. We can go to the browser and we can see message hello world. Beautiful. And this is all. This is a whole paradigm. I have only a small settings PI. I have only 5 lines. That's all. Finished. But if you don't agree, we can also check how it works with Fast API. Fast API app, and you can see there also the same functions. The difference is only how Django works with JSON. It works, and right now, if you want to compare how it works, we can use Lacoste. I like to use Lacoste to check how fast it in comparing FastAPI or Django. And if we run Lacoste, and if we run it, for example, µDjango, we can see. Oops, sorry. Okay, and µDjango. There's µDjango. We can see the performance, and the performance is sorry, I forget the line. I run the Lacoste on this. Okay, this is our Lacoste. If I load my project with 10 person and I run it in 20 seconds, what it happens? If connection goes away, sorry, because Lacoste create for me the high loading. And right now you can see we achieve around 400 or 500 requests per second my application can provide for me. And if I stop it, and if I, for example, for comparing with single worker, for example, with FastAPI application, if we start to compare it, you can see what 20 seconds. FastAPI in single worker works 2 times faster. But what if, yeah, it's around 1000 on 1100. But what if I start my application in multiple workers, 1200? Okay. And 20 minutes is away, and 3 minutes I give for me. Okay, it's around 1200 requests per second for FastAPI. But it's very interesting. If I add different workers, in comparison with FastAPI and µDjango, we cannot see the difference. Right now in my project, I have 6 workers, but if I put 6, my computer dies. Sorry, it's weak, laptop. FastAPI 2 workers. It started, and if I run Lacoste again, then and 20 seconds. Lacoste for FastAPI, which works in 2 workers, can achieve till we can see in charts, for example, till that works, don't matter, till 1400 around. But if I run the same for µDjango in 2 workers, we can see we achieve the same volume of requests per second. Of course, right now we have 900, but for 6 workers, for example, in comparison with FastAPI, we have the same the same result. Of course, we lose many time for organizing async loop, but I only want to show you the example what µDjango is comparable with FastAPI in our task. Okay, right now I show you an example, and I don't have too much time. In this case, I switch back to presentation, and example from really use cases with testing, async testing with get data from database. You can find later in my repository. And what I want to show, I already finished my talk, but what I want to show, you we have async example with get data from database. In this case, I get data from user object, and I send it to response. But problem is, if I use class-based views, in this case, many functions should be overridden. In this case, I only want to say Django is not completely ready to work with async syntaxes if you use generic class-based views from Django. In this case, probably I'm already finished. You have example from classes. You can have example from testing in this paradigm. And also I provide in my presentation organizing in Docker container. And that's all. Make service, not war. Try to work with µDjango paradigm, and I hope it will be funny. Thank you. I'm finished.